Hello, everybody. Dan Lucas from Credo here, and it is July 5th, and we're on day 2 of our 50 states in 50 days. Today we're doing Pennsylvania, and they've got quite a bit in Pennsylvania, excuse me, as far as tax credits. They've got a R&D tax credit, research and development tax credit. They've got a mixed use development tax credit program, which is, it looks like there's a lot of requirements and stuff that you'd have to meet, but basically if you're forming a mixed use development, that there's some additional tax credits available for you. So if that's something you're into or know somebody, you might want to look into that. They've got a malt beverage tax credit program, which to me means beer. It's a beer credit. So that could be one of the coolest types of credits I've ever seen, a beer credit. So if you're brewing beer, definitely want to look at that. I know a friend that brews hard cider. I don't even know if that qualifies. It might. There's a lot of educational tax credits. I had noticed that if you are, an entrepreneur and starting up some sort of private enterprise that provides education services, there's a lot of tax credits that are available for that type of thing. There's a lot of potential scholarships and grants that they might award you to do that as well. So it's not technically a tax credit, but it might be something that you want to look at. They have something called the Keystone Innovation Zone tax credit, which is, again, sort of along those lines. And it says the program creates geographic zones to foster innovation and entrepreneurial opportunities by aligning the combined resources of educational institutions and the private sector. So it looks like something that has to do with, the way I read it, is public education partnering with private type businesses or resources of private businesses. A lot of education stuff in Pennsylvania. There's something called the Keystone Special Development Zone, and that's an incentive-based tax credit program to foster the redevelopment of abandoned, deteriorated commercial and industrial sites. Okay, so a kind of like the opportunity zones that we talk about on the federal level, it sounds like, but very specific to Pennsylvania. Something you got to keep in mind too is that some of these state tax credits can be more generous than even the federal credits, and sometimes you can stack them one on top of the other, and so you never know if you might be able to put some money if you've had an exit or had a bunch of money come into you or inherit some money somehow. You might be able to start your own development project or even a fund of some sort to create one of these development zones to make an entire community even look better, and invite some of your friends to come in, family, other partners you might have worked with, and stack some federal credits on some of these state credits. And it looks like Pennsylvania's got pretty generous credits for things like that. There's a resource enhancement and protection tax credit called REAP. Looks like that's for farmers. It says it's a tax credit for farmers and businesses that invest in the implementation of best management practices in agricultural operations. So not something necessarily that would be, for our particular or typical customer, but might know somebody that could use that. There's an entertainment production tax credit, and it credits things like, you can get credits for things like film production and video game production tax credit. I don't see video game tax credits that often, so that's kind of neat. So any film production, video game production, that's pretty cool. Too bad they didn't have that around for Sylvester Stallone when he was filming Rambo in Philadelphia. Oh well. Let's see. Then they have the Entertainment Economic Enhancement Program. It looks like it was established to attract investment in Commonwealth by awarding tax credits to tour operators representing musicians for rehearsals and live musical performances within the state. So if you're doing anything in the entertainment industry, you might want to take a closer look at some of these tax credit programs in Pennsylvania. You might be missing out. There's a Pennsylvania Resource Manufacturing Tax Credit, and so this has to do with it's a little bit you're purchasing natural gas, and it has to do with giving you a powerful incentive that will help the manufacturing industry. So if you're not in the manufacturing industry, it probably does not apply to you. If you are in the manufacturing industry, it applies to you in certain circumstances. It might be worth a second look. There's the Coal Refuse Energy and Reclamation Tax Credit, and That gives tax credits to eligible facilities that generate electricity by using coal. Um, by using coal refuse for power generation. And so that might be something you want to look at too if that happens to apply to you. Let's see. And there is ability to assign and sell some of the tax credits. Again, a lot of states have a lot of different tax credits, but not a lot of them allow you to move them from one person to the next and assign them. So even if you don't qualify for any of these Pennsylvania state tax credits, you might be able to buy them from someone else who can't use them. A lot of times people generate a lot of tax credits and they may not have enough taxable income to even use them. And so they just kind of die on the vine without being used. And if they're able to be transferred, then somebody that has a lot of taxable income and doesn't have the ability to generate any of these tax credits by any of the activities they're doing, they can buy them from someone else who owns them, and then it creates a win-win scenario. So if you're a Pennsylvania resident and you do have substantial taxable income, obviously look at the tax credits to see if you qualify for any of them. But then secondarily, if you don't, then look into the market to see people that are selling credits, because you might be able to buy some credits for a percentage on the dollar, and they do better because it's better for them to get something than zero, and you do better because it's better for you to buy credits at a discount than actually pay the whole tax yourself. If any of that doesn't make sense or it's confusing, just put a note in the comments. We'll clarify that so you understand what that is. But assignable tax credits are really neat, and they're not. I wouldn't say they're that typical. At least I don't think they are. And only certain states have them, but they're really neat. So again, that's Pennsylvania. It was the second state admitted to the Union, and it was admitted on December 12th, 1787, only 5 days after Delaware, which is the first one. So hopefully that's helpful. And if there's anything I said that might have struck a chord with you, or you thought that maybe you have something there, obviously look into it yourself. But if you'd like some help from a professional like myself or anybody on my team, send us a note, and we'd be happy to look into it with you or just have a conversation about it. Okay, have a great rest of the week, and hope you had a great 4th. Bye-bye.